Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Live at the Waterhole. Beautiful giraffe here at Eldonio in Kenya. My name's Kelly. I'm going to be with you for the next 2 hours, seeing what these stunning cameras in a multitude of locations have to offer us today. But please remember, the most important part of the next couple of hours is we are live and we are completely interactive. We've got a selection of ways that you can interact with us. You can send your questions to wildearth.tv/questions, or you can scan the QR code you can currently see there on your screens. We love hearing from all of you, and you can join in the conversation on X using #WildEarth, or again you can scan that QR code. We all really enjoy hearing all of your questions and your thoughts, so please send them through via WhatsApp on +27 78 630 2336. I was chatting to a friend the day before yesterday, another guiding friend, and I was telling him how much I enjoy all the questions that come through, and I'm still pondering the "do elephants yawn" question that I got quite a while ago now, but it's these things that keep us quick and keep us up to date on some of the latest research that comes out about our fantastic natural world. Lots of hellos joining us already. Penelope Kenya, and hello again Kelly and Mika, and happy birthday Wild Earth. So blessed to have been part of your journey. Happy birthday indeed. Joanne Mello, happy Sunday Wild Earth and Kelly. Happy Sunday Joanne. Catherine, hello everyone. Hello back at you Catherine. Jive Bunny here for a short while. Where are you going, Jive Bunny? You must stay. And I did. I had a lovely time in Kruger. Jive Bunny's also saying happy birthday Wild Earth and greetings to Mika. Jive Bunny, as promised, I actually did, for the first time in a long time, make notes on everything I saw while I was in the Kruger. I just went for one day, one night and one day. I went all on my own, and it was absolutely glorious. Quite hard work looking constantly with just one set of eyes all that time, and I worked out. I also treated myself to a night drive, which I haven't done for a very long time in the Kruger, that are hosted by Kruger guides on a Kruger vehicle, going out from 8 p.m. till 10 p.m. And I totaled it up that I looked solidly for a total of 20 hours. I drove the whole day. I got there before the gates opened. I was at the gate opening. I got sort of back into the gates half an hour before they closed of the camp. Yeah, there was some hardcore looking for things done. I think two of my favourite things I saw a rather large black mamba crossing the road. And I also saw a spring hare on my night drive for the first time in a while, so that was absolutely fabulous. I have a whole list of other things I saw. I also managed to identify a female black-bellied bustard with a youngster with her. I got my first African stone chat. I've seen them before but never recorded on my list, so yes, it was absolutely fantastic. Thanks, Jive Bunny. Catherine is Catherine with a K is saying hi Kelly and Mika. Happy Sunday, Diane. Diane from Cape Town. Thank you very much, Diane. Happy Sunday to you as well. Picasso is asking, is there any update on Passanvari? Not that I'm aware of, I'm afraid, Picasso. I haven't heard anything come back. I'm not sure if MC can give any additional feedback there on if we have any updates. I did actually see there had been a scuffle with that young white lion. I'm not sure if there's been any more feedback since then, I'm afraid. So I've got nothing to give you. If we do have any updates coming through, I will definitely let you know as soon as we get anything. Okay, I've just had feedback that unfortunately we don't have any further updates, but I'm fairly sure we will be trying to visit and see if we can get any more information on that young white lion during this afternoon's drive. So stay tuned and we will see if we can get anything back from you. It is fairly, from what I saw, it is fairly common for these scuffles to happen, especially with when it comes to the males. So stay tuned and hopefully we'll be able to give you an update later on this afternoon. Natalia, designer by day. Hello, how tall is this giraffe? The giraffe that is no longer on the screens but was on your screens. I think it was a female. I didn't actually clock if it was a male or female. Males can get up to, really tall males can get up to 6 meters, 5.5 to 6 meters. Females, 4.5 to 5 and a bit meters. The tallest land mammal, and they are ginormous if you are close to them, Natalia. There are a couple of very relaxed giraffes that frequent the estate that I stay in, and they often don't give you much space, and if you're driving past a giraffe that's 10 meters off the road, you can't even get up to the top of their legs with the vehicle. You can't even see past, you can't even see their belly. They are gigantic animals. I've just heard we might have a snake across at Tenby. I think let's go over to Tenby and see who we have at Tenby Elephant Park. Ooh. I'm going to do that thing where I peer into the screen. Yes, that does indeed look like a python. I think it was Tenby. Was it Tenby? We had a what we believe was a young python on a weaver's nest. And it looked like it was living in the nest actually, sort of sunbathing during the day, and then he was sort of starting to move more into the nest. And it does look like a python. The markings there, and also the fact that it looks quite big from this angle.
We have just had our efforts paid off.
Join the Wild Earth YouTube Superfan community and unlock a world of additional perks. Get exclusive early access or discounts to Wild Earth travel deals. Wear the best bush attire with merchandising discounts. Enjoy an interactive live monthly private safari. Don't miss out on the ultimate fan experience. Join the YouTube Superfan community today.
My full name is Cedric Leslie Dold. I grew up mostly in the Lowveld. I grew up here pretty much on the southern side of Kruger National Park, a place called Marlow Park, for most of my years. Something surprising about myself, I did play drums in a band for many years. Best sighting I presented, we found Palumba and the two cubs, and the cubs are just way big.
Join our expert guides at dawn for a live, immersive safari as the bush comes to life.
Found ourselves a chameleon, and look how he's changed colour.
Every sunrise brings new discoveries.
Pound for pound, a leopard is one of the strongest cats around.
Ask questions, share your thoughts, and connect with nature, live and in real time.
Great excitement, great happiness.
Start your day with adventure.
Has anyone seen this snake move, just out of curiosity? Oh, Jive Buddy, I've heard about that. You're telling us the python used to be on a branch at Rose's Pan, snatch birds settling on the branch. I've actually heard about that python before, and I've gone back and looked it up. And that was a good sized python that used to hang out there at Rose's Pan. They are fairly territorial. Well, not territorial. They stay in regular areas. Whether or not there'd be a python fight if someone came into their territory, I think it's unlikely. But they definitely do have very... they often stay in the same sort of place. Is there any chance we could zoom out of this picture here? I'd like to see where that python actually is. I'd love to get a perspective on where this python is situated. It might be able to give us a bit more information about what's going on here. Because to me that looks a bit... I mean, it doesn't look too hot there. But that python looks very out in the open, on an area that I would anticipate would have quite a high thoroughfare of elephants, which would not do so well for the python if there was a big group of elephants walk past here. But I'm sure we will come back here and have another look, see what's happening here with this python. But in the meantime, let's go over to let's maybe go out. I'd like to see pythons do enjoy water. Oh no, I suppose it's under the tree there. But we often... Wow, that's well spotted, whoever found this python. Well done. But we often see elephants in that area. So what I would like to keep an eye on, I would be very interested to shoot back here quickly if we do get any elephants turn up, which would be unsurprising, knowing Toby Elephant Park. So if we could keep an eye on this camera, I'd love to see what panned out if elephants did arrive. But in the meantime, while we wait, let's head over to the delightful Tau Game Lodge up there in the northwest of Madikwe. That's a brilliant find, whoever spotted that. Wowzers. We've got a little water. Oh, and a crocodile. I've learnt about these crocodiles. I think it was last time we were here, I sat and chatted about the water buck in the background because a crocodile was lying right along that line. Sort of its back was in perfect unison with where the edge of the mud started, and I didn't see it for ages. So I'm practicing checking for crocodiles in mud now. This is a nice peaceful scene. I think we're going to have a nice peaceful Sunday today, everyone. I'm going to try not to babble along too much and just enjoy some of the sounds of the bush. Oh, we've got an impala here as well. Maybe one of these antelopes will indeed totter over a little bit too close to this crocodile. Would this, I mean, this water buck would definitely be too big for this crocodile, would they? Possibly. But I've seen animals get very, very close to crocodiles, and no one's moved, whether or not it's just a mutual understanding that everyone knows everyone is there, so there's going to be no trouble, so to speak. I'm going a bit quiet because I'm trying to remind myself the egg. I know female Southern African pythons don't shiver like some of the other pythons, but I'm just trying to recall that they will bath to increase their body temperature when they're brooding eggs. But I can't currently remember exactly when female pythons would be brooding eggs. I'm just trying to get. I know they lay October, December time, somewhere around there. But I don't know. Oh no, they won't take that long to hatch, I wouldn't have thought. I was trying to work out if maybe that python wasn't basking because she was brooding eggs, but I don't think it's the right time of year. Oh, thank you, Catherine. The python's been there for over 12 hours, moving a bit every now and then. These crocodiles are incredibly patient. But everything, they've got slow metabolism, slow growth rates, so maybe everything is just slower. Maybe a crocodile's one day is like 1 hour for us, and it means nothing to them to sit still for 12 hours. And the python's been there for over 12 hours, moving a bit every now and then. I wonder maybe, Catherine, if that python's eaten something then. And is maybe trying to digest. Look at this image. Look, crocodiles, waterbuck, impala. There's some baboons in the background there. I wonder if that python's not eaten, but it's still quite a open spot for a python to choose to try and digest. Limbury, thank you. Thank you, Limbury, one of the zoomies. Yes, it moved a bit. It was found overnight We're trying to find out if it was the same python that was injured and then treated. I remember that python. Wildlife Lady, hi, thank you for joining us this afternoon. Looking forward to seeing what we can find on all the lovely cameras at the waterholes. Yes, it's always, I also don't know, I can't see all of the cameras from where I am and what I'm doing, so it's as much of a surprise for me as it is for anyone else. Oh, look at this big hunky male impala strutting his stuff behind there, head down, on a mission. He looks in great condition, nice and shiny, nice thick neck. I still haven't heard any rutting impalas, and they do rut sort of end of the rainy season, although we've had a couple of bits of rain in the low fell over the last 3 or 4 days. So maybe they might start rutting a bit later this year. They are definitely gathering up their ladies, but I haven't heard that very characteristic growling, if you want to call it that, from the males yet. Diane, you're saying, hi Kelly, earlier on Wild Earth, a leopard caught a croc. Wow. Earlier, like today, or earlier in historical times. Did we see it? That would be very, very cool to see that.
My name is Amy, and today we're going to be doing things a little bit differently.
South Africa's wild places are closer than you think, because Federal Airlines brings them to you. From the calm of our FedAir lounge to the smooth boarding of our trusted fleet, we take care of the journey so you can enjoy the adventure. Our flights go beyond the ordinary, connecting you to South Africa's most remote and extraordinary locations. Federal Airlines, your gateway to the South African wild.
This week, we celebrate our planet and the power of nature. It's all about the drive to power our planet by harnessing nature's energy. Join us live as we explore the exciting world of wild power. Earth Week, only on Wild Earth.
Had here where I am in the Lowfield over the last few days. Not really proper rain, but maybe it has had an impact on this impala behaviour. Nice big male waterbuck as well, following the ladies. Okay, Diane. A leopard caught a croc. I'd love to know if this was, Diane, was this sort of today or on one of these cameras, or was it in the past? That would have, I've seen jaguars catching what I assume to be, what are the crocodilians? Caimans, maybe? I've seen jaguars catching caimans, but I'm not saying it wouldn't happen by any stretch, but I've never seen that. I would love to know if that was caught on these cameras. That would be epic. The croc was still alive. Do they just eat the croc? Or do they bite the throat like with a buck or antelope? They'd have to kill it, and they'd have to kill it quite quickly. I would imagine, because that's got a big bitey section on that crocodile. I would imagine they would try and suffocate it, or bite the throat like they would anything else. I would love to know where that was seen, Diane. That sounds oh, that crocodile, it looks like Masara Johannes. You thought the crocodile looked like it had set a trap. It looks like this one might be joining the trapping scenario. But I've seen so many times that antelope comes super close to basking crocodiles. Well, I don't know if they give off some sort of vibe that they're not hungry or something, or whether the animals genuinely just don't see them. Spas, you're asking, have I ever seen a python killing an impala or even a young waterbuck? I have not. I've had 2 opportunities to see it, but I'm going to be completely honest, I've chosen not to take them. Look, that bird is not keen on that crocodile. I have heard 2 sightings called in on the radio before in my career, and I have not gone, because I know how incredibly sensitive snakes are in those situations, and I have not been prepared to potentially cause those pythons distress and possibly forcing them to lose a meal. I have seen, I reckon one probably, a young waterbuck, that's big. Impala, not impossible. I know impalas have been taken by crocodiles. I've seen a python with we believe a dacre in it before. That was insane. That was actually here. And we heard monkeys alarm calling, and sort of said, well, that's a strange noise. That doesn't really sound like monkeys' alarm calling for a leopard, because we know that call well. And we sort of walked around and we were looking at the monkeys, and then all of a sudden we looked down and there was a python. Oh, it must have been, it's difficult to explain it. Probably as thick as my thigh, or maybe round my, no, it's probably as thick as my thigh, but it swallowed, we think it was a dacre, and it was just enormous. And we immediately, we almost didn't see it, we almost stepped on it, because we were looking sort of in the trees, and we were looking for something that was mamba shaped. Oh, we've got some kudus coming in. And so, Spaz, yes, it's definitely possible. I've never seen it. I've purposely passed on the opportunity because snakes, big snake or any snakes, are very easily disturbed when they're hunting. And that snake has taken lots of risks to get a hold of whatever it's planning on feeding on. It's not my place to increase the chances of it either losing its kill or being hurt. Gaming Butter, good morning. Hi, sorry, I nearly missed your comment there. Good morning to you too. Thank you very much for joining us. Penelope Kenyon, the crocs are indeed out in force today, and some lovely female kudu crossing the back of the Tau waterhole there. Hangwani Magoro. Sorry it's taken me so long to come back to you. The animals that were with the impala in the background there, I think that, like the fluffy ones, fluffy grey ones, they were waterbuck, or proper name is the Lipson waterbuck. They're the waterbuck with those white rings around their bums. The other group of waterbuck found much further north in Africa are the Dufasa waterbuck, and they don't have that complete ring. So full name is a Lipson waterbuck, Hawangi. Oh, Jive Bunny, you're going out now. Okay, well thank you for joining us where we could. Southern bearded vulture is in the Drakensberg. Wow, okay. That sounds very exciting. Thank you very much for this update, Jive Bunny, but have a lovely afternoon out with your family. Oh, Diane, you've seen it before, so it could have been a repeat. The croc was still alive. It was opening and closing its mouth. Then seen it eating the croc under the tree. Diane, that is an incredible sighting, and completely possible. I'm just going through my memory banks. I don't think I even know of anyone, like personally, who's seen that. We've got all us bush nature lovers, it's a fairly small circle, and normally if someone sees something epic like that, it passes through the groups like wildfire. And so I personally don't know anyone that's in that, but that is a very cool sighting. I would imagine they probably tried to kill it, that leopard, but it's got a very different body structure. So you can see these kudu, how long those necks are, and how easy it would be for a leopard to grab onto that throat. Crocodiles less so. It's sort of body then head more. So I'm sure it's probably trying to dispatch it, but I can imagine it would struggle. I'm just having a look on these kudu. See how nervous they are. Yes, I do see that. Yeah, this one at the front here might look like she's got a little bit of a skin condition there on her neck. Could be mites. I can't see if it's, I know giraffe often carry the papilloma virus. I don't know if that would be transmissible to kudu. I've never seen a kudu with those same bumps, but maybe it's just a little bit of irritation on the skin there. Masari Johannes, you're asking, is that pool deep enough that a croc could kill a buffalo in it? That would have to be a monster crocodile. A baby buffalo, probably, but I would say it's very unlikely, Masara, and certainly if anyone has ever heard a story of a adult buffalo being killed by a crocodile, I would love to hear it. I know when you see these river crossings and these enormous big Nile crocodiles are killing wildebeest and zebra, that's a mission for them. I'm not saying it's impossible by any stretch of the imagination. But I know, Masara, I've been to this lodge. I actually used to work at this lodge and live at this lodge for many years. That water in front of the lodge, well, we've seen elephants in it, and it sort of goes up to an elephant's belly, sometimes a bit more, so it's not a really deep dam, not in this area. I think around on the right hand side down by the other rooms was a bit deeper. Oh yeah, let's look at this girl. It could maybe be a bit of mange or some skin irritation or some mites on her neck there or something. See, has that one also got a bit of it, or is that just the light? Danny, this is indeed an amazing start to a show with a very busy tail waterhole.
Experience the magic of the wild on an unforgettable 4-night safari at Mabula Nature Reserve, hosted by the one and only Stephen Falconbridge. With Steve as your private guide, you'll gain incredible insights into Africa's wildlife, leaving with knowledge and memories to last a lifetime. Get hands-on with conservation, track elusive cheetahs, and even take to the skies on a hot air balloon ride. Wild Earth Travel, where Africa comes alive.
My full name is Cedric Leslie Dold. The best driver at Wild Earth, it is me. I believe I'm the best driver. I think so, because I've... best part of my job, I say, is just to try and look out for these animals, track them down. I love tracking animals. I love looking for, fresh tracks, and if you can find them, it's just at the moment of accomplishment. If I wasn't a presenter for Wild Earth, I would be the drummer for AC/DC.
Step away from your daily stress and escape into nature with Wild Earth. Immerse yourself in the wilderness and become part of the natural landscape. Watch as everything comes alive. Join us as we slow down our thoughts, put aside our distractions, and reconnect with the wild. Safari, wine, and waterfalls. The ultimate African adventure. Sip South Africa's finest wines. Experience a world-class safari among Africa's iconic wildlife. And stand in front of Victoria Falls, one of the natural wonders of the world. All this can be yours with Wild Earth Travel, where Africa comes alive.
If you're approaching a known water source, so we do the same thing. Let's go and have a look at this lilac-breasted roller. My gut tells me it's probably going to leave as soon as we go there. I've been left hanging by many birds over the years, and by the time you get your camera up or your camera on or your binos focused, it's just a branch. But no, thank you, lilac-breasted roller. Thank you for staying. This light is in no way. Oh, look, he's sitting down. This light is in no way doing this bird any favours. Maybe it's a young bird. I'm actually going to get my Sub-Saharan African bird book out and see if there's any other rollers that are found up there in Kenya. I think this probably is a lilac-breasted roller. But I'd like to see if there's any others that are found up there. Rollers, there's quite a few in the family. Lilac-breasted rollers are the best known, most striking that I know. Wow, there's an Abyssinian roller. Let me look. Excuse the scuffling of pages. Can't quite beat the feel of a book. Blue-throated roller. They're more Central Africa. Okay, so in South Africa we see the broad-billed roller. They're very, very pretty birds. Blue-throated roller is more Central Africa. The purple roller we see here. European roller we see here, depending on the time of year. Abyssinian roller is very far north. Lilac-breasted roller we know well, rapid-toed roller, and blue-bellied roller. Okay, that's more across in West Africa. I think this is maybe one of this year's chicks, one of this year's babies. But also the light isn't doing this roller any favours. So I'm sure lots of people have said before that lilac-breasted rollers, they've got 7 colours on them, all the colours of the rainbow. But did you know that apparently lilac-breasted rollers have yellow tongues? Which I did not know, and I was reliably given this information by a friend who sadly had a lilac-breasted roller fly into their window. And they saw its tongue, and it was sort of a yellowy coloured tongue, which is possibly another added colour. But yeah, I think this is probably one of this year's chicks. Those colours are still coming out. And one question I've had before about birds is why, if it's often male birds with the colours to impress the females, as we know, why do male and female rollers have such impressive colours? And it's just the way they've evolved, is the only answer I've ever managed to find, because it doesn't technically, if it's to impress the females, really make any sense. The roller stayed long. Actually, can we zoom out of this picture? Is this dangling branch that's been dangling out of one of the trees for a while here? It is, yes. I've been watching this branch. Wow, I need to get out more. I've been watching a dangling branch. I've noticed this branch before, and interesting that roller chose to use that branch as a perch. I wonder how long it's going to be before something heavy sits on it and that branch just drops again. Makes you wonder how it ended up there. I can't see any big branches above that it would have snapped off from, and it will probably stay one of life's mysteries. But yeah, I've noticed this branch before and wondered how long it's going to be hanging around. No pun intended. Hey, Spaz, do you think that was purple? I'm not sure, hey? I went light, but fair shout. I'm going to check again. I did see that those colours weren't as bright. It looked too small to be a purple roller to me. But I'm certainly not going to rule it out. Do you get purple rollers up there? To me, Spaz, it felt like a juvenile lilac-breasted roller. But it's gone now, so I can't go back and check. But that's what my gut was telling me, but I'm happy to take it under consideration. Thank you for pointing it out. Let me check on this app and see. Normally juvenile birds, their colours aren't as bright. They haven't developed those feathers. They will go through a few molts before they get those stunning colours. I haven't got an image here of you. I'm not sure. Spas, you could be right. It looked too small to me to be a purple roller, but I'm happy to take it under consideration. And is alopecia common in some antelope species? I would have to Google the actual, I would have to check the actual medical definition of alopecia. Is alopecia just hair loss? I don't know what the medical definition of it is exactly. I thought alopecia was just hair loss, and then hair loss, whether or not it's caused by mites or anything, I think would be the cause of alopecia. But I'd need to check the medical definition of alopecia, Spas, before I answered that. And Messiah Johannes, what is the difference between a water python and a bush python? Or else all of them swim? They all swim. As far as I know, the only two species of python we find in South Africa are the, I think it was the Anchitas dwarf python and the Southern African python. I can't remember how they were split, because people used to call them rock pythons. But as we have discussed many times, things changed name. So I go by my textbook, my reference book, and I use the names that are in there because these people are the experts. But I know there is frequently classification or reclassification of many things here. But no, I think a dwarf python will also swim, but Southern African pythons are known to be very happy in and around water. Just trying to see if the other python swims. Okay, let's leave this beautiful scene up here at Lantoro, Kenya, with what was either a juvenile lilac-breasted roller or possibly a purple roller. And let's head across to Founders for some warthogs. Having an absolute blast there in the mud. I can't see how happy this one is. That even how you say it? Anchitas, A-N-C-H-I-E-T-A, Anchitas dwarf python. I would assume they'd be fairly comfortable in water as well. And this book is saying Southern African pythons reach a maximum length of about 5 meters and a mass of 60 kilograms. I know snake sizes can sometimes be exaggerated. I'm sticking with what's in my reptile guide, but these warthogs, same as a rhino or anyone else would want to wallow in mud like that, covering their skin, using as a sunblock, and it feels nice. And also, is this warthog now going to dust? Oh, shame, he's lacking the trunk to do it as thoroughly as elephants do. Ah, now he's having a nice rub.
My heart is pounding at the moment. we are here in one of the best places in the world to see tigers.
The Wild Earth Impact Foundation is a non-profit that uses the power of wildlife storytelling as a force for good. We create sustainable development projects that showcase conservation stories, empower people, and inspire environmental action. As a registered South African PBO, you can make a tax-deductible donation to the Wild Earth Impact Foundation. To find out more, visit our website.
If you're thinking about booking a trip with Wild Earth, do it. I highly recommend it.
My face feels all sort of stiff and tight and uncomfortable. That's that bathing session of the warthogs done. I'm sure someone else will be along at some point to make use of this beautiful red mud here at Founders Lodge in the Eastern Cape. Let's go to the lady for an elephant. I think he might just be making his way out of having a drink. Let's see if we can catch the tail end of an elephant. Will we get the tail? Will we get an elephant's tail? Will we get an elephant's tail? Letting the lady... Ah, there he is. He's not leaving. I thought we were going to get the edge of a tail. Having a nice little snack there after a drink from this perfect little nice clean water trough. Water trough? Water, I don't know what you'd call that really. Not really a trough, is it? Happily having a munch there. Definitely all drying out, but remember, we are still here. We've got another hour left. We are live. We love to hear from you. We would love to hear all of your questions. as part of my, there he goes. Please send your questions to wildearth.tv/questions, or you can scan the QR code you can currently see on your screens. As part of my briefing to guests, I normally say there's no such thing as a stupid question, and we would love to hear your questions and comments via WhatsApp on +2 7 7 8 6 3 0 2 3 6. And I also always say I will never make something up. If I don't know, I will say I don't know and try and find out and come back to you with an answer. If I don't know something, it will be very clear that I don't know something, and sometimes I will attempt to use what I do know to get to an answer around something that I don't know. And our elephant's gone. We caught much more than a tail. But I would like to share with everyone what I did see in my day in the Krug Park, because I went to the great trouble of typing everything out that I did see on my phone, because I said I would. Apparently there is another elephant, possibly not departing, across at Rosie's Pan. Oh, a cluster leaf there. Purple pod cluster leaf by the looks of it. Purple pod terminalia. This elephant looks like it's going nowhere for now. They will often stay for a very long time for a drink. They might have walked a long way to get here, but this is Rosie's Pan, very close to where I am based. We've got another elephant joining. Oh, let's watch how this interaction goes. See, that's very respectful. Okay, lots of space behind the other one. You see the one that's closest to sort of looked over their shoulder. So look, there was enough space for everyone to share so nicely. Nice companionable drink. I think I probably had about 7 or 8 elephant sightings while I was in the park. I didn't type out elephant 7 or 8 times. I did see the same elephant twice, because I recognised him because he had a very his ear was bent right the way forward, almost covering his eye on one side. A big bull. I don't know if anyone else might have ever seen him actually, hanging around on the road between Satara up towards Oliphants, that open area there. I saw him on the way up and on the way back. I saw lots of impala. I was going to hang around and watch for mating impala. I did not see any. I've typed beaston here. I don't know what that is. Maybe it was a typo for wildebeest. Possibly. So an African hawk eagle. Black-chested snake eagle. Oh, okay, no, that was too close. More space. More space, please. Friendly drinking elephant. That almost looks like a mirror image of those two. And watch, this one furthest away is getting closer again. Let's see if he's going to ask for more space. No, still okay. No, I thought that was going to be too close again, but maybe not. Animals communicate so beautifully with body language. That's actually a really nice picture. animals will often, not so much elephants, but they will quite often tolerate each other. They'll tolerate one another, even territorial animals. As long as there's no animosity, they will tolerate. There we go. Now with the water splashing, they will tolerate each other in their home ranges. So 2 male rhinos. I've seen 2 big adult male rhinos drink from opposite sides of a pan. They don't want to be near each other, but as long as everyone's respectful. So I wonder if this one is drinking. Oh no, he's going to start splashing there as well. Oh, incoming. It's a third, see, more space. Which is giving him a nice wide berth. Drink, then splash. The order they often do it in is they drink, and then they splash water, and then they splash mud, and then they throw dust. Which would be the logical order, I suppose. Very companionable. What else did I see? I carefully wrote everything down. Well, not that carefully, but I saw lots of zebras. I saw a massive water monitor having a discussion with a hammerkop. That was quite cool. I saw a juvenile African hawk eagle. A juvenile African harrier hawk, which I struggled to identify for a little bit. I had 5 or 6 buffalo sightings, one big herd and then a couple of smaller herds, and then a couple of males on his own. A female black-bellied bustard with one of this year's chicks, a stinbok, black-winged kite. Oh, is this one going to cause... Does he want to pass around the back now? That's going to cause a kerfuffle.
I get to wake up every morning and go out there and look for cats. I get to create my everyday safari for myself. I grew up in the sort of central eastern suburbs of Johannesburg, fully qualified trails guide and a fully qualified nature conservationist. I love the wild places. I love being in the wilderness. It's probably one of the best jobs I've ever had and probably ever could have.
maybe there's no breeding females anywhere, no gigantic big bulls, there's not really anything to compete for. There's enough water here. Like, everyone's beautifully spaced out. Everyone's got enough space. Everyone's got enough water, so it's all quite peaceful. Animal lover, you're asking, when do elephants become aggressive towards each other? Aggressive. Sorry, my brain's just got into dog stuff and the different types of aggression, because there are different types of aggression, certainly in canine behaviour. Animals normally communicate with body language, animal lover. So is an elephant going side on to another elephant and giving them a side eye aggression, or is it just requesting space by using body movement and spatial pressure? Proper aggression. In all my years in the bush, I've probably seen maybe 4 or 5 times, maybe 6 times, proper big elephant bulls being properly aggressive, like actually trying to hurt each other. And that would normally be for, it's normally over females, animal lover. You don't normally see food aggression in elephants, and when they chase each other out the way a bit at water, is that really aggression, or is it just saying, excuse me, I'd prefer it if you were over there? But it's normally over reproductive rights, animal lover. But you don't see it very, they'll shove each other a little bit, but is that aggression? Would you call that aggression? Or just communication? Deb Davis, do I have a life bird list? Yes, I do, Deb Davis, but it's woeful. Because I only started my life bird list about 3 years ago. And I was tricked into having a life bird list because I do enjoy a list. And I knew that if I had a live bird list, I would become a little bit obsessed with it. So I purposely did not start a live bird list until a very good bird had tricked me into it, and they said, do you not want to, see what forest birds you've seen? And I sort of thought, well, okay, I don't normally go to the forest, so I set up a forest bird list, and then I went somewhere else and they said, oh, do you not want to see what new birds you've seen here? And I was like, I suppose I could. And then they swiped something on my bird app, and I then had a live list. So I was actually quite annoyed about that, because I've got a woeful live list, Deb Davis, that I don't even really want to tell you how many's on it, because it's only been going for a few years. But yes, I do. Jabu, why is an elephant going into must so visible to humans when we cannot smell other male animals? I can smell male elephants in must, 100%. I don't think it's for our benefit, Jabu. I think it's more for the benefit of other elephants, and we are able to see the results of it. But I can 100% smell must bull, and I have smelt the smell many times. Often I find when it's dark, which is extremely unnerving, and it makes me very edgy, especially if I'm on a very narrow road with nowhere to turn, and you get that waft of must bull. I can definitely smell must elephants probably. Probably not for my benefit though. It just happens to be the signs and symptoms of must that are also visible to humans. Why do elephants prefer? Joshua was asking, why do elephants prefer to drink fresh water and clean water over stale water? Because it tastes nicer, I would have thought. It's got less icky things in it, and it's better for them, would be my conclusion, Joshua. The same reason I mean, they probably wouldn't get as sick as we would, but it's just nicer. I can't think of any other reason apart from that, Joshua, really. Linda, you're advising. Thank you very much for this, Linda. There used to be a hippo living here, and some elephants chased it away. Does that happen often at waterholes? Yes, it does. I would say. It's kind of food competition. Ultimately, hippos eat grass. Elephants also eat grass. They both drink water. I've seen elephants chase ducks away from waterholes. And if there's a hippo in the way, an elephant would need to be more aware. Well, the hippo's not going to eat the elephant. It can still do some damage with the mouth, and it's just an extra thing to be concerned about, Linda, really. So I think maybe it would be the same as, this is going to be a ridiculous example, if you're sitting in a field having a picnic and there's a cow there, it's probably not going to do you any harm, but you're still going to be not concentrating on your sandwiches because you're worried the cow might come over. That's a very strange example. But I would say yes, it's probably fairly common. Wildlife Lady, you're saying the same thing. The hippo at Rose's Pan used to get out when elephants arrived some time ago now. He's obviously moved out. Yeah, I'm surprised, Wildlife Lady. That pan's quite small now as well. Or imagine if you're a hippo in there and you saw how deep those elephants were. They were sort of up to their knees in water. That pan's no more than 3 or 4 elephant lengths across, maybe 5 elephant lengths across. If that elephant walks in a body length, then he's only going to be a body length away from a hippo at the furthest point. And I don't think the hippos would want that, and I don't think the elephants would want that. If it was later in the season and there was fewer options for waterholes, maybe the hippo would have stood his ground a bit more. But if I was a hippo, I'd also rather go try find somewhere else with a little bit more space, maybe. That was all very peaceful. Those 4 elephants all sharing a fairly small little water point there. Okay, what else did I see, Ingrid? I saw leopard tracks. I spent a lot of time deliberating over black-winged kites. It had very clear, almost like Batman eye marks, and I know black-winged kites have those eye marks, but on the app it didn't show them as clearly. But I also worked out that was probably a juvenile. It had adult body colours, but juveniles have quite a clear eye band, so I worked out that it was a juvenile black-winged kite, and it would make sense seeing all these juvenile birds at this time of year. This elephant's gone for a lovely good scratch on that. It looks maybe like old leadwood is found there. It would need to be something pretty solid. I've watched elephants and rhinos try scratch on things before, and they haven't been solid enough and they've broken under their weight, and it gives them quite a fright. They pull a face like they've sat on a chair and the legs have given way. We're going to leave this lovely big elephant bull having a good scratch on this potential Jed Leadwood and head across to Stony Point. I think we might have some active dussies over here. Oh, and we must almost be getting time for this penguin now, must we? I feel like I've been watching this penguin on the net for a while. Looks much cooler here today. Not so much sunbathing going on. The most interesting thing I've learnt about dussies recently is that the males have different songs, which I found absolutely fascinating. Different notes, different repertoires. These dussies actually come from an ancient group, which is where we get the link to elephants and dugongs from, with the Penungulatas. Probably the closest. I actually looked up to see what woodchucks look like. Woodchucks or marmots. That's probably the closest. Are marmots South America? I know woodchucks are North America. Have we got any baby penguins in here though yet? This is a more pertinent question. Any movement in there? Has anyone else seen any movement, chick-wise, in this nest here? Ooh, I think let's go across to Nkoro Bush Lodge. I think we might have some actively rutting male impala over there, which is always fun to watch. I really enjoy watching those for their body language and how they. I've seen lots of male impala. They're visibly herding the females now. Nina Brown, you're asking, you've never seen dussies grooming each other. Is it something they do? I've never seen them do it. But that doesn't say they don't. Oh, is he? I was just saying the other day, I've never seen a mating impala. There's a bit of allo grooming going on there. Yeah. Of all the impala I've watched, no. Not right now, boy. So these, Nina, sorry, I'm not sure. I've never seen dussies allo grooming, and I'm having a quick flick through here. I can't see any mention of it, but it wouldn't surprise me if they did, because they do live in quite... This is the first time I've ever seen... That was the closest I've ever come to seeing a mating impala. Huh. Well, I never. I think that's the first time I've ever seen that. Oh, the these years of watching impalas and I've never seen them mating. Huh. But I've never really watched impalas on cameras before. I've only ever watched them.
Join Wild Earth Travel on a unique nature adventure in the Greater Kruger Park. Legendary master tracker Renius Mhlongo leads a 4-day animal tracking experience in the Sabi Sand Nature Reserve. This experience offers a life-changing chance to track Africa's iconic animals on foot with a master of his craft. Renius is joined by Wild Earth presenter and expert storyteller Amy Krantz, and together they will connect you to Africa's wild heart.
Welcome to Safari Spotlight. We'll be
And you pretend like you're a serviceman, eh?
Got no idea what's going on this reserve.
Expecting the unexpected.
Are we stuck down there?
What am I trying to do?
So we have another giant of Mabula.
That was incredible.
This is unbelievable.
It's going to be a spectacular afternoon.
That's really interesting. So while impalas will test the urine of females to check their reproductive status, it's not quite the same wrinkled, crinkled lips as you would see in the cats or indeed canines, but they will definitely use scent to test her reproductive status. I'm just trying to find out. There's been lots of research done on rutting and social structure and courtship and all the rest of it, but actual copulation, I'm not sure how long that would last for. I'm not sure if we actually just witnessed a successful copulation, but we might have done. That could have been the making of one of our little lambs that will be born anywhere between from mid-November time, depending on rains often. That was fascinating. That is the closest I've come to watching impala mating. But let's head across to El Doño. I think we might have a That was the first time I've heard that noise this year. That roaring, grunting, Very characteristic of this time of year. Lovely. That's the first rutting sound I've heard of the season. Nina Brown, I've established that Darcy's do indeed allogroom. I thought they probably would do. I've never seen it, but I haven't actually spent that much time with Darcy's. I've seen them up in copies, but they're normally quite nervous. I haven't spent much time observing them actually, so I've never seen it, but yes, they will allogroom, as you often find in gregarious species. Brock, excellent question. Why didn't that impala move on to try and find another ready female instead of trying it on with this one female? That's a really good question. I'm trying to think exactly how long female impalas are reproductively available for. Often antelope, they're not. Or they might be in estrus. Just trying to remember, I'm sure is it waterbuck? They're only actually able to be fertilised for like 3 days or something crazy. The rut does go on for a few weeks. So it would make sense that not all the females are in full estrus for that whole amount of time. But that's a really good question, Brock. I'm going to put that on my homework list for tomorrow. But I want to check exactly how long females can fall pregnant for during this rutting season. Female. I did do some reading about predation in male impalas, and I was right in what I said, and it can scientific studies do show that predation on male impalas during this time of year can go up by 100% because they're not concentrating. They're often not they're not feeding enough, they're not drinking enough water, unlike this beautiful giraffe, who's definitely staying hydrated. But Brock, come back tomorrow. Join us again, same time, same place tomorrow. And I will give you some more information on that. You'd have thought it would be simpler, right? But I think it's probably going to be something to do with the fact that whether or not they are receptive for long periods of time. I've got a brilliant book that I often use for behaviour. There's some lovely breakdowns in it, but that is not in here. Can't beat a good book. But of course, all the books and lots of the information in a lot of the books changes rapidly. When was this published? Okay, I'll tell you which book it is because it's quite a well-known book. It's called The Safari Companion by Estes. But it was actually published in 1999. It's got some of the language used in it is their phrasing in it is quite entertaining sometimes. But this was published in 1999 by the looks of it, and we have discovered a lot of stuff in the last 25 years. So maybe it's time to upgrade from this. Brilliantly written though, with lots of not just South Africa. Looks like that one that had a drink was probably a male, maybe with some females looking on, waiting their turn patiently. Looks like these ladies may make their way in for a drink, but there is someone who has already made their way in for a drink across there at Founders. Let's go and have a look. Absolutely gorgeous. So while the warthog were using it before, now we have a beautiful white rhino come and plonked down in that perfect mud. Other side. Is he going to go right over? I'm a horse rider as well, and I remember we always used to say when horses rolled, if they could get themselves all the way over from one side to the other, it was the sign of having a strong back. I've got no idea if that's true or not. But I'd be very surprised if this rider could flip all the way over, roll across the back, and then end up on his other side. That is one relaxed and happy looking rhino there, I think. Yolanda, the length of a rhino's tail is so comical, short and stubby compared to the rest of its body. It is. It does look a little disproportionate. But if you think about it, how funny would it look with a tail like a horse? It's almost like he's showing us. See my tail, it's perfect. What else is splashing there? And let's see what's going to happen here. Oh, Fred. I'm not going to talk over these amazing sounds.
My name is Amy, and today we're going to be doing things a little bit differently.
Become a Wild Earth YouTube member today and unlock extras and bonuses, like ad-free streams so you can stay immersed in your safari without any interruption. Have your burning questions answered first by me or other expert naturalists. Join now to avoid missing out on these amazing benefits. Help us connect people to nature.
Haina nchumo, haina maka. Emava kwenye ya mbilu, haina maka. Lifasila mina ritapela, zatsemba, utatsamana mina. Chidzana na tsima ra ntumbuluko, Dzovukazi ya xitsundzuxo, hosi ya rhumela.
How cool is this?
Often we wouldn't be able to be a part of because we might have come around a corner in a vehicle, and well, we do approach very, very slowly. Well, I do anyway. If you're just being present, there is a chance that you will impact this. And I've seen many rhinos staying in the mud like this, but this rhino closest to us is flat. Isn't it? So his eyes, and look. And there they get up with that amazing tide line. And now we're going in for the scratch on that very appropriately shaped rock. Brock, you're asking, do rhinos have a relation to dinosaurs? Not really. The evolutionary history of the rhino it is not directly linked to dinosaurs, from what I know anyway. Although they do look incredibly prehistoric. Look at that. rhinos evolved from the tapir family, from rather that side of the evolutionary scale. But I would have to check, Rocco, but I don't think they're direct descendants of dinosaurs. Look how they're sharing this rock so nicely. Brilliant questions though, Brock, and everyone today. I really do appreciate hearing them. We are here every day, 12:30 till 2:30 South African time. The time is now 14:13 Southern African time, so send your questions to wildearth.tv/questions. We will be back again the same time tomorrow. We've got 15 minutes left of today's show, but we will be back again, technology allowing, as is usual, to bring you more of these amazing scenes from our cameras. So if you think of any burning questions about anything you might see, please save them up and join us again tomorrow. So these rhinos coat, well, the one on the right has definitely made more of an effort of a full coverage there, I think. But it's just got that little one little dry bit there, covering themselves with mud to act like a sunscreen to cool them down. So as I'm sure you all know, the black rhino and the white rhino are not so cool because of their colour. Bundu bee, so gentle. Yes, they do look like gentle giants here. Very, very passive. They look like these lumbering softies, but if you've ever seen how quick a rhino can move, you may think slightly differently. Oh, get right in there. That rock's moving. I wonder how much that rock weighs. Oh, I want him to scratch the top of his lip. It's all covered in mud. I'd want to go and get all the mud. Oh. Are we going again for an under the tummy manoeuvre? Looks like it. I love seeing rocks and things, but especially old tree stumps that have been used for generations of rhino and elephants to have a good scratch on like that, and they go very, very smooth. And I like to think of how many animals would have scratched on that same rock. Oh, careful! That was definitely a full-on scratch there. And do the other side. Hans, this is very endearing to watch. anyone that says animals don't have emotions are wrong, in my opinion. There's not many things I will answer directly, but that is one of them. If this rhino doesn't appear to be enjoying this to you, then we must be watching a different rhino. Lots of animals will intentionally put mud and stuff on horns to make them look bigger, more impressive. The base of a rhino's horn is rhino horn is keratin, so the same as our hair or fingernails. But I have had the privilege of looking at a rhino horn up close. And around the base of their horns there, it's almost like a tiny bit frayed, sort of where the keratin is. It's just like a little bit frayed just down at the bottom where it attaches there. And I would imagine that would be a place where parasites and things might live. So it looks like it's doing a great job of having a good scratch in there. It's almost lifting that rock up. You're going in.
Join me, Andrew Wistenholm, for an indescribable 6-night stay in the beautiful Albany of the Eastern Cape at Amakhala Game Reserve. Now, this trip is going to be action-packed with a lot of storytelling, adventure, as well as the opportunity to make everlasting memories. We'll be exploring the best of Amakhala by staying at 2 luxury lodges, which will be the perfect blend of comfort as well as wilderness. Book your spot today and let's get ready to explore the wild beauty of Amakhala.
Become a Wild Earth YouTube member and unlock exclusive bonuses and benefits. Enjoy uninterrupted, ad-free streams so you can stay immersed in nature. Have your burning questions answered first by me or other expert naturalists. Enjoy exclusive access to special broadcasts and videos, and help us to connect people to nature.
Best sighting I've presented, I found myself with wild dogs. We chased the dogs around, chased them around. They ate an impala, we got the end of that. Then another impala went into Gowrie Dam down the road there, and the wild dogs went around. Eventually the impala came close to the bank. One wild dog went and grabbed it and then just pulled it out and just did what wild dogs do. It was an emotional experience, but it was very, very special.
Are you ready for the adventure of a lifetime? Wild Earth Travel's newsletter is your passport to a magical journey. Explore exclusive travel options featuring special offers at stunning Wild Earth locations and all hosted by your favorite presenters. Don't miss out. Head over to our website and subscribe to the Wild Earth Travel newsletter today and stay in the know on all our unforgettable adventures. Wild Earth Travel, where Africa comes alive.
Looking a little bit grumpy there. Or is he grumpy or is he just waiting? I was always taught that horses with their ears back are mildly annoyed, but maybe he's just listening. But how funny would that look, that tail on a rhino? I don't know, would it look funny? Oh, it's heard something over there. What can you hear, Zeb? It was a lovely view of his mane from the front there. And I love how the colours of the stripes go up into right up into the mane. It's like they've been designed by an artist. Very aesthetically beautiful. Look at that. They are amazing looking animals. And you see that mohawk, that crest of that mane, and we often we will get, look at that, look, that's brilliant. Look at that image. We will often gauge the condition of a zebra. Oh, snoozy up. Actually, we've only got about 5 minutes left of the show, and this zebra is also looking a bit sleepy. So maybe if it's Sunday afternoon where you are, this is your sign. You should have a little Sunday afternoon sleep. This zebra looks like he might be a little bit snoozy as well, but we will often check the condition of a zebra by if their mane is upright, and they will sometimes store fat along their crest in their neck. Do they store fat, or is it muscle? No, maybe ignore me. I don't think they do. I think it's just muscle condition. Possibly ignore that. But I know if zebras have a nice thick neck and like almost an extra bit of neck running under their mane there, it will show that they're in good condition. You can't go on their bellies. Zebras are known for carrying quite a lot of gas. They are hind gut fermenters. The clue is in the phrase fermenting, which does create plenty of gas, so they will often look quite bloated. But this zebra, if I was forced to guess, I'd say this would be a male, because he's got a nice... I've often found, I don't know if it's technically correct, but males can tend to have thicker stripes on their necks. Broad, thick necks. He does look like he's about to have a little nap there. I think that's a great idea. Lily, I'm really glad you've enjoyed the show. It's an absolute pleasure to be here. Just got a few minutes left. Oh, this zebra's making me sleepy just looking at him. We really appreciate you all spending time with us here on a Sunday afternoon. I often play a game when I'm in the park. What was your favourite thing you saw? So what was your favourite thing you saw on today's show, everyone? Oh, I wonder what happened to that python. That was quite cool. I'd be very interested to see what that python is up to tomorrow. Or maybe watch it throughout the night, see if it goes anywhere. We are going to try and find a bit more information about that young white lion for you for this afternoon's safari. And we're also going to see if we can find out if that python was the same python that was injured a while ago there at Tembe. So look, resting his leg. That's what horses do when they're very relaxed. Oh, that's sad. He's going to be bothered now. Let's see how annoying these birds are. Yeah, no, don't do that. Oh, that would drive me mad. Oh, how can he just... Oh, no, that would... I'd be flapping my head around. But he's got one in each ear. No, he doesn't seem too bothered. Maybe he knows that he's getting a nice little free groom by them shoving their beaks in his ears. Oh, I've just heard we've got a moving python. Where's this moving python? Well. Oh, there. Okay, I've got somebody. We're all going there. Okay, we've got like 30 seconds of this show left, but this python is definitely alive. We know that much, and that is a beautiful snake. I would strongly suggest keep an eye on these cameras. I think I'm probably going to go there myself, actually. That is a lovely sized python. So yeah, hop into those cameras and let's see what develops with this python. Thank you all so much for spending your afternoon here with me, and most importantly on these amazing cameras. And we will see you all again tomorrow, 12:30 South African time. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday.